Alright, so this is a very rough and very harsh example of how I would mod Call of Duty 2. It actually took me 8 years to learn how to do this because Call of Duty 2 is a game I looked at on and off for Xbox 360 for years because no one else had modded the game. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to remember because I stopped modding this game for a long time. But there's other people that's made plugins and whatnot as RGH plugins to mod the game now, but for just the file edit side, no one did it before me for Xbox 360, and it took me years to learn how to do it. But basically, at least for this file, I don't remember about the other files, you're going to want to open it in FFviewer 2.27. So we're just going to open it, and please ignore everything on my desktop. So we're going to click File, Open FF. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to go to Call of Duty 2 example, open up MP Common. You'll see you'll get this little error box here. Just click OK. And now this may not work for you. A lot of people can't get, these tools and programs to work. But just going to let it sit here and load up. If it wants to cooperate. Alright, now you see over here, you'll have a bunch of this stuff. Just ignore all this rubbish. Just ignore all of this. You can't edit here. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to this folder and you'll have an extract.dat file. I'm going to open up a hex editor here. Let me close all this shit. Alright, and it helps if you already know the GSC code. Well, I guess you're going to be using text or, whatever this means is going to be used for. I just modify mostly GSC. I don't mess with any of the text strings or nothing like that. And it helps if you already know the code of the GSC files. If you don't know those, the best thing I can tell you to do is if you have Call of Duty 2 on PC, is to reference the IWD files for Call of Duty 2 for PC and then reference the GSC files and those IWD files. So we're going to be looking at grenade indicator. I don't use this right now. In my release, this is what I use, but I no longer use this file because I'm now threading into a different GSC script. So I'm going to open it here, and let's just say I want to find this function here. I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to go in here, Control F, Control V. I'm going to search for all. As you can see, it finds it here. I'm going to do F3. And then F3, as you can see, can't find it anymore. So we're going to go to the top of this GSC. It's going to be right here on init. As you can see, there's no GSC name here. On later Call of Duty titles, the GSC name is here. But for Call of Duty 2 and I guess below, maybe even Call of Duty 3, but that's a different engine. I don't know what it uses, but for Call of Duty 2 and below, the GSC file name is not here. Like later Call of Duty games, so it makes shit a little bit harder. So that's why I say you need to already know the GSC files. But again, you're not really going to be using this for it. Well, you may not be using this to modify GSC files. I don't know. I guess you would if you need to modify text in GSC files, like if for print ends and stuff like that. But here, let's just say I want to change FOV scale to, let's just say 99, and I have the space because I've modified the space here. If you didn't have the space, you would just like erase a line of code, or if you saw something that was commented out like that, you would erase the comment text out so you can create space for the GSC. I'm not going to cover how to GSC increase size because that's very complicated. You have to go find another GSC file that's useless or whatnot that has a bunch of commented out text like this, and you'd erase them, and then you would get the bytes from that GSC, copy them, insert them into another GSC, and then you would have to actually modify the size of the GSC. Like here, I think this is the actual size of the GSC file. You'd have to modify those, but we're not going to go over that because that's too complicated. But yeah, let's just say I want to make this be FOV scale 99. I already have the space to work with, so I'm just going to copy all of this. Oh shit, let me Control Z that. I'm going to copy all of this, and then let's go right here to init, paste right. And as you can see, I still have some space left here. But let's just say I didn't have space. You would be overwriting like this data here. So you'd have to go back and Control Z it and remove it because it means you're overwriting data and it's not going to work. But you have the space to work with, that's fine. So we're just going to click File and Save. And then we're going to go back to FF Viewer, File, External File Save, do it. You may get this little pop-up error box, just click OK. And sometimes it can take it a minute to save. Alright, it externally saved the file, then you just click File and Close, and that's it. That's the basic example of how you modify this, at least this FF file. I can't say for the rest of them, you have to test different FF viewers and stuff. Any tool that doesn't, any FF viewer that doesn't have the external file save option, it will not work for, because you can't just outright modify most of the FF files. You can maybe modify the SND files through FF viewer, but not sure. It's been a few years since I last fucked with them, but let's just say you want to do another file or another GSC file as an example. So you want to modify, I'm just going to copy this over here to this example. Shit, let me actually paste that. Delete this shortcut. Alright, so let's just say you want to remove this commented out text because it's not used. So we'll do that as an example. Now let's just say we want to find this code in the hex editor. So let's look for something that's going to be easy to find. So let's just say this line of code here. We're going to Control C that. I'm going to go in here, right top, Control F V, in the text string search. And then we're going to do F3 to see if we find it again. We don't, so we know we're there. Which isn't going to be the case for every GSC file, because some GSC files may have some of the same code. Now we're going to scroll up until we find the init for this. There's the init, and here's the includes, where these Y's are. So right here, it'll say include MP utility. Ignore those game types FU stuff. This is where I had to overwrite some GSC files for space. So I'm just going to right click, select all, copy. Then we go here, right click, paste right. As you can see here, we pasted over stuff, but we now have code here. So we're going to have to null that out, or you're going to have a corrupted GSC. Alright, just going to file, save. Then go back over here, file, external file save, and do it. You just click OK. So let's just say you are modifying GSC files. Let's just say you don't know any of the GSC code. You have Call of Duty 2 on PC. You would just open an IWD file, then you'd go through the GSC files. Then you would find snippets of code because the GSC may not be one-on-one for Xbox 360. So you'll find a snippet of code. So let's just say you find a GSC file, right? Let's just say you find one. Let's just say you find a text string like this in the GSC file. Just copy it, go in the hex editor, and then Control FV it, and then you'll find it. Then you click F3 to see if you find it again. If not, good. If you do, it just means there's the same code in another GSC file. And then you'll go to the very top of the GSC file, which is going to be right here where hashtag include is. And I'm going to go up here to show you an example. Yeah, hashtag include MP underscore utility. Then you modify it, then file, external file, save. And that's it. I don't know how useful this is going to be for editing text in the game. I don't know which FF files control all that, but yeah.